Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be creating a bucketed column on a report. At first it seems really complicated, but once you get into it, it's really not that bad, especially the more you do it. And they are very functional whenever you are building out some reporting and you're needing to group by a custom column with some custom logic in there. But if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more Salesforce content that's coming out each week. And if you find this information useful, hit that like button for me. I really appreciate it. It helps the YouTube algorithm. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this. I'm already on the report tab in a report I created called Bucket Report. Really, this is just an account report that I have here. And this is some dummy data in my sandbox. So today we're going to be grouping or bucketing the employees field. As you can see, this is the number of employees at each of these companies here on the left. And I'm going to create a bucketed column for if the number of employees is 50 or less, we're going to call that small company. If it's from 50 to 500, we're going to call it medium. And if it's more than 500, we're going to call it a large company. So to do so, there's two ways you could add in a bucket really easily here. If you already know the field you want to bucket, you can hit this drop down and hit bucket this column. Or if you want to, you could add a bucket over here too. You can add a bucketed column on the left as well. But we're going to go ahead and do to the employee field, go up here and hit the drop down and hit bucketed this column. So lay of the land here. This is the field we're bucketing. Because we hit the drop down by the field, it is selected employees for us. If we were to use the one over here, it would not have this filled out for us already. We would have to search the field that's available to bucket, which most of these are under the account that we can bucket. So we're going back to employees. Bucket name. Best way to remember this is going to be the name of your column. So I want to call this company size. And I know I need 3 buckets, so I'm going to go ahead and hit add. Now we have all 3 of our buckets ready to go. This is going to be where you enter in the number of employees. So if there are 50 employees or less, we want to call this small company. If there is 50 to 500 employees, we'll call this medium. And if there's greater than 500, I want to call this a large company. And then down here at the very bottom, it says treat employee values in the report as zeros. That's fine. We can leave that checked because if there's 0 employees, it's going to end up putting it into our small company category. We're going to hit apply. So it put our bucketed column over here on the far right. As you can see, it's at the bottom of our columns. You can move this around if you'd like, if you wanted it up here by employees or maybe up here at the very beginning, wherever you would like. And right now you can see we have small company. There are no employees here, so it's treating it as a 0. So that's perfect. Large is 1,000. Perfect. There's one with 120. Medium company. Perfect. I'm going to hit run so it's a little cleaner looking. As you can see, we got all of them sorted out here. You can click on a bucketed column and sort it however you would like by hitting any of your headers. You could secondary, switch the sort over here to the annual revenue if you wanted to. I'm going to go back in and edit this. You could even move this up to your grouped row, and you could group by your bucket as well. I actually really love doing this, grouping it by your new column here, your new bucketed column. So you can flip that. I like having the large at the top. This is super useful, right? So now, you're calling this a large company. If it has more than 500 employees, which all these are, you can see there's only a couple of mediums. And this is the sandbox environment. There's not really I put that 1 in there just so we'd have something to look at. But yeah, so that's how you build a bucketed column. And I wanted to show you something else as well while we're here. You can actually bucket annual revenue as well. It's the exact same way. You're going to name your column and then you would specify the dollar value. So you could call it like high revenue, low revenue, or big account, small account. I'm just kind of making up scenarios there. You can actually bucket text as well, like on this industry. You could come in and bucket this column, and as you can see, it looks a bit different. So to bucket like a text field versus a number field, what you would do is same thing. You're going to name your column, whatever you want to call it. Maybe we'll call this like sales region. We're going to pretend like we're breaking these out into different sales regions. So right now it's in all values, and then there's unbucketed values. So you can add you a bucket. We'll call this the South region. And I'm just going to go through, and I want to select a bunch of these. Now, something to keep in mind, you can only select 20 items to be bucketed in a single bucket. So keep that in mind, and there's a bunch of these here. So I apologize, this takes just a second. But you hit this move to, I don't want to move those to the South region. So what it did is it adds the bucket, so it says South region. We have 19, I'm under the 20 limit, which I kind of want to show you what it says whenever I go above 20. So I'm going to do this real quick. South region, you get this error. It says each bucket can have at most 20. So I need to move 2 away. So what we'll do is check 2, move to unbucketed. Now we're at our proper amount. I'm going to add another bucket. We'll call this the West region. We're just going to pretend like there's 2 regions here for simplicity. So going back to all values, we're going to scroll down to all the ones that are not bucketed. And I'm just going to check mark these. And I want to move that to my West region. So then bucket remaining values other. So if you had like another 4 there that wasn't part of the sales region, you can hit this little check mark and it'll automatically put them into the unbucketed. I'm going to hit apply. So now we have 2 bucketed columns here. We have one that we're grouped by, which is the company size. And then we also have added in a sales region. So now you can see that the energy and construction sector are both in sales region, and consulting out here is actually in the South as well, and transportation's in the West. It's pretty useful. You could even change out your grouping if you wanted to do that. I believe you can add this in as a secondary grouping as well up here in the top. Just like that. You can hit run. Let's take a look at this a little cleaner. So now we have it grouped first by the company size and second by sales region, which I think is pretty cool. So looking at small, you have someone in the South and West, and there's actually 2 others because they don't have an industry. So it's in that unbucketed area. But I hope you found this information useful. Buckets are very, very powerful. And if you're working as a Salesforce admin, you're going to run into these. They're on the Salesforce admin exam. I know for sure they're also on the programs platform exam as well. They talk about them a little bit, but they are very useful, and it will save you a lot of time when you're building reports and can make you look really smart too, which is awesome. So if you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button for me, and I will see you in the next video.